They thought the dead couldn't talk. But on the cold night of November 11th, 2019, a single voice, faint digital, impossible, came through a forensic computer at the Massachusetts State Crime Lab. It was a woman's voice, and she said, "You buried the wrong one." The voice came from a corrupted audio file recovered from a decades-old cassette tape sealed inside a coffin. That message, impossible as it sounded, would unravel one of the strangest cold cases in American forensic history. By the end of this story, you'll learn how modern forensic technology revealed something no one believed possible. A murder victim exposing her own killer from beyond the grave. In 2019, the Old City Cemetery of Essex County was being relocated due to flooding. Among the exhumed remains was a coffin marked only with the initials MW. Inside was the body of a woman estimated to have died in the mid-1980s, perfectly preserved due to unusual soil conditions. But that wasn't what caught attention. Resting on her chest, inside a deteriorated plastic bag, was a cassette tape. The tape was labeled in smeared black ink for Detective Hale, 1986. No one named Hale worked in the department anymore, but archives showed there had been a Detective William Hale who investigated a missing persons case that same year. The case file? Marlene Winters, age 29. Last seen leaving her shift at a diner in Ipswich. Never found. DNA confirmed the remains were indeed Marlene Winters. But when the forensic team played the tape, it wasn't just an old interview or evidence recording. It began with silence, and then faint breathing. Then a woman's voice whispered. He said no one would ever find me. Then static. Then that final phrase. You buried the wrong one. Detective Erin Mallory, a forensic specialist with the Cold Case Division, took over. She was known for her precision and her skepticism. But even she couldn't explain how a tape inside a sealed coffin had survived for more than 3 decades. The audio was analyzed at the FBI lab. Experts confirmed it wasn't a prank. The voice matched Marlene's from archived answering machine messages collected by police in 1986. So how could she have recorded that after her death? Further examination revealed something stranger. The tape wasn't recorded on a commercial device. It had an audio compression pattern consistent with forensic surveillance gear used by law enforcement at the time. That suggested someone, possibly a cop, had recorded Marlene shortly before her death. And the phrase, "you buried the wrong one," started to sound less supernatural and more like a warning. When investigators located the late Detective Hale's belongings, they found his personal notebook. One entry, dated October 21st, 1986, read, "Met with MW again. She's scared. Says she knows who killed Lisa Danvers. Promised to meet tomorrow night. Route 114 diner. She insists on proof. Lisa Danvers was another unsolved homicide, strangled, body dumped near Salem from 2 years earlier." The disturbing part? Both women had worked for a man named Richard Glenn, who owned a local auto shop and had been questioned, but never charged. Hale's final entry read, "She never showed. Maybe she ran. Maybe he found her first." The next page was torn out. A new autopsy was ordered on Marlene's remains using modern forensic tools. Dr. Amara Klein, a forensic anthropologist, discovered something the 1986 coroner missed. A needle puncture beneath her fingernail. Traces of an old sedative, thiopental sodium, a drug once used in police interrogations, were detected in preserved tissue samples. It suggested someone had drugged her, possibly to extract information or silence her. But how did she end up buried in a coffin with her own name missing from the marker? Further cemetery records revealed that her body wasn't buried under her legal identity. The grave had been purchased under the name Mary Walters. The initials matched the coffin, MW. Someone wanted her hidden, but also found. Forensic audio engineers worked for weeks to clean the tape's static. In the final minutes, beneath the white noise, they discovered something chilling. A faint male voice saying, "That's enough, Marlene." Then a click, then the scraping of metal, like a shovel. Mallory cross-referenced the voice using digital voice comparison. The result matched the late Detective William Hale. Internal Affairs records showed Hale had been under investigation for corruption in the late 1980s. He allegedly had ties to Richard Glenn, the mechanic suspected of killing Lisa Danvers. The working theory emerged. Marlene Winters knew Glenn was guilty. Hale was supposed to protect her as a witness, but instead, he silenced her to protect Glenn and himself. But then, something unexpected happened. In Hale's old basement, beneath loose floorboards, investigators found another cassette tape labeled Backup. It began with Marlene pleading. "He said I'd be safe. He's here. Please, don't let him." Then, overlapping voices, two men arguing, a thud. Then Hale shouting, "What did you do? God, what did you do?" Followed by silence. When the FBI enhanced the background noise, they found evidence of water dripping and faint, distant traffic. The sound matched a specific underpass outside Ipswich that had been under construction in 1986. And when cadaver dogs searched it, they found a second body. The skeleton was male, estimated age 40s. Dental records identified him as Richard Glenn. He'd been dead since 1986, buried under tons of concrete. It appeared that Hale hadn't been Marlene's killer after all. He tried to protect her, but arrived too late. The tape recovered from her coffin was his confession, a message he intended for whoever would find her. "You buried the wrong one." Hale's way of saying investigators had blamed him when the real killer was already dead. The case became known as the grave that spoke back. Using the preserved DNA, chemical traces, and enhanced analog audio, forensic scientists developed new cross-sample reconstruction technology, a process now taught in FBI labs as a forensic first. For the first time, a voice from decades ago helped exonerate a man long dead and expose the truth of two cold cases. Marlene Winters' family finally gave her a proper burial, with her real name etched in stone. And Detective William Hale's reputation was quietly restored posthumously. But one mystery lingered. In Hale's old locker, investigators found one final cassette. It contained only static, until near the end, faintly, the sound of breathing. Then a woman's voice, Marlene's again, whispering, "You found me, but who found you?" The sound analysis confirmed it was not part of any previous recording. It was made after both Hale and Marlene were dead. To this day, experts debate whether that final sound was an audio glitch, a trick of layered magnetic tape, or something science can't yet explain. But one truth remains. That grave and the voice within changed how forensic history was written forever. So here's the question for you. Thought balloon if technology can now recover the voices of the dead. How long before the dead start solving their own murders?